Okay, so this company is a bank, and she's told that she can target customer support to see if she can access a customer's bank account. And she's given the options to use a phone call, email, or chat to get through.
That's right. So I started with the chat feature, and I posed as a customer to see if I could take over a customer account with just chatting. So I told the bank support people my sob story. I lost access to my phone, my email, my laptop. I got, lost and I had a night out and I'm traveling abroad. I mean, like the whole story, right? And I really need access to my bank account because I'm stuck and I don't have money. And the first thing that I usually try when I'm trying to do an account takeover is I try to see if I can get them to change the email address or the phone number on the account. Because if I can do that, then I can change effectively the admin on the account. Just by changing the email address, I can then reset the password or reset to a phone number that I control. And there's SIM swapping and all of that could happen after that. But, that's basically how it works. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, well, we can't do that because we need to only send the password reset to the email address already on your account.
Good for them. That's the protocol they're supposed to follow.
That's exactly right. So good job, bank. Horrible for me as the pen tester. So I tried chatting with multiple other support people. I'm trying again and again. They will not make any exceptions for me. It doesn't matter my pretext. That's who I'm pretending to be. It doesn't matter how I contact them, what I say, my story, nothing. So I decide to switch to phone call-based attacking because I tend to be much more successful. So I switch to phone calls. It leaves less of a paper trail. People tend to get less suspicious because I can build rapport. They can hear my voice. They can hear how trustworthy I sound. And also when I'm calling, I can spoof phone numbers. And a lot of times that helps me gain access.
Spoofing phone numbers. How is this still possible? You can download an app from the mobile app store, and within a few taps, you can change what phone number you're calling from to have any phone number you choose. So you can make it look like where you're calling from is not actually where you're calling from. Now, when I was young, I used to do this with emails. I would love to send emails to my friends pretending to be from the FBI or the President of the United States. But then the email protocol got updated. They implemented SPF records somewhere around 2006, and this ensures that the place you sent the emails from is where the emails are supposed to come from. This effectively put an end to email spoofing. But for phones, which have been around a lot longer than email, it's an unpatched vulnerability, in my opinion. You can still spoof phone numbers.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. In the US, right now, it's still possible because all of the telcos have to make the same decisions at the same time. And unless all of the companies get together and make the same choices, it's going to be really hard to implement the right solution. So at least in the US, spoofing is still really possible for me.
Now, since phone companies refuse to fix this, their solution was to help pass a law making it illegal to spoof phone numbers. But while I see this as a vulnerability, telephone companies have historically said, wait, why are you using telephone numbers as identifiers? They were never meant to be identifiers. And they put the blame on us for doing that. But then telephone companies gave us caller ID, where our phones would show who's calling. And mobile phones today all come with this feature. If you don't want us to use it as an identifier, otherwise, patch it so phone numbers can't be spoofed anymore.
I spoof my phone number. I make it look like Kelly on the account. And by the way, on data brokerage sites, when we're doing OSINT, open source intelligence, typically we can find most people's phone numbers within a minute or two. So when we're searching, we can just know, okay, this is Kelly. This is Kelly's phone number. I'm going to go ahead and spoof that. I set that up. It usually costs me $1 or so on the tools that are available on the App Store. These are not like heavily regulated. You can just find them on the App Store. And I go ahead and I place that call.
So yeah, I mean, they've got a script that they go through where they're just like, okay, well, do you have the last 4 digits of your phone number or whatever the case is to verify you? Is that how you were challenged or what happened?
No. So this bank knew that KBA, knowledge-based authentication, things like, what's your address? What's the last 4 digits of your phone number? This bank knows that information is very easily found online. So they don't use KBA, knowledge-based authentication, to verify your identity. They usually use MFA, multi-factor authentication. Now, this is great. This is exactly what I recommend. Send a code to the email address on file and make them read it out to you rather than going through this process of verifying identity with information that can be found by an attacker in 5 minutes online. So that's good. But as an attacker, that's going to be a challenge because I don't have access to that email address. And when I'm spoofing a phone number, I actually can't receive text messages. And if they call back, I'm not going to be the one that answers that phone call. I'm just spoofing. It looks like I'm calling, but I don't actually have access. Now, of course, I could SIM swap, and many criminals will do that. But for the purposes of this pen test, that's not what I'm testing. So they say, okay, we have an edge case here. Let me see if I can talk to my manager and have you send in a picture of your driver's license, your social security card, and a utility bill. And instantly I'm like, okay, bingo, we're in. The other half of social proof security is my husband, Evan. He does all the technical stuff. I do all the human hacking stuff. So my husband, Evan, he gets to work editing a driver's license, a social security card, and a utility bill to the exact information that they're expecting for this account, which again, we can find through a data brokerage site. So we're hoping that this company does not know the actual driver's license number, the actual social security number, and they're just looking to ensure that the name and address that are on the account match those documents. I can find those pieces of information through OSINT. And a lot of times I've noticed that when they ask for these types of documents, they don't know the right info. They're just hoping that it matches, and they stop there. We spend all night on these driver's license, social security cards, and utility bills of the accounts we're trying to hack. I email the bank at 8 a.m. the next day. I tell them my story. I tell them the edge case that we have set up with support. I send them the driver's license and social security card and utility bill. By 9 a.m., I have full admin access to the bank account. I have changed it to be controlled by my attacker-controlled email address, and I can steal all of the money in the account. So once I finally get in, I have access to everything. I use the same method again and again. I get access to 2 more accounts throughout the day. I end up spreading out the requests so that we're not raising suspicion with the same attack method over and over again, back to back. And in the end, we took over each bank account that we were asked to hack within 2 days.